Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be featuring a Brawl deck with Varis, Silverymoon Ranger as our commander, as part of our series of Brawl videos featuring commanders from adventures in the Forgotten Realms. While Varis is in play, once each turn when we cast a creature or planeswalker spell, we get to venture into the dungeon. Venturing into the dungeon is a mechanic from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. The first time you venture into the dungeon, you choose one of 3 dungeons to enter. We will almost always choose the Lost Mine of Phandelver. Each time you venture into the dungeon, you proceed 1 room deeper into the dungeon, gaining incremental value as you go, until you complete the dungeon. If we complete a dungeon with Varis in play, we make a 2/2 wolf token. So the goal of this deck is to try to venture into the dungeon as often as possible in order to go wide with the wolf tokens Varis makes, and we have other cards that create creature tokens or synergize with making creature tokens as well. I've broken the deck up into categories, so let's look at them now, beginning with our mana acceleration. Chrome Mox can help us get off to an explosive start. We are also playing all of the 1-mana ramp cards available on Arena to help us cast Varis on turn 2 as often as possible. Birds of Paradise, Delighted Halfling, who also makes Varis uncounterable, Elvish Mystic, Gilded Goose, Llanowar Elves, and Utopia Sprawl. Gallic Readers works with our token strategy, since it can trigger multiple times the more creatures we make each turn, between making tapped treasures, putting +1/+1 counters on itself, or gaining life. Into the North puts a snow land onto the battlefield tapped, while Leafkin Druid can add 2 mana if we control 4 or more creatures. Sculptor of Winter can untap our snow lands to make additional mana, while the new Torgal, a Fine Hound from Final Fantasy, puts +1/+1 counters on humans we cast for each dog or wolf we control, so it can get out of hand if we have made a few wolves with Varis. Wolf Willowhaven, meanwhile, enchants a land, and late in the game can be sacrificed to create a wolf token. Of the classic ramp artifacts, we're playing Cold Steel Heart because it is a snow permanent to go with Blizzard Brawl. We also have Emerald Medallion to discount our green spells. Lucamina Moon Druid doesn't ramp us per se, but she does help us hit our land drops, and can be specialized to pump our other creatures and give them trample, which is perfect for a go-wide strategy. Heraldic Banner buffs the power of our green creatures, while finally, Nissa Who Shakes the World doubles how much mana our forests make, and can transform our lands into creatures. Next we have our dungeon enablers. 50 Feet of Rope is a good mana sink, letting us pay 4 mana and tapping it to venture into the dungeon as a sorcery, while Intrepid Outlander ventures into the dungeon when it attacks if we have enabled Pack Tactics. You Find a Cursed Idol can also destroy an enchantment or artifact, as well as venture into the dungeon and make a treasure, while Find the Path, which ventures into the dungeon when it enters, could also go in the ramp category. So could Dungeon Map, which has an activated ability to venture into the dungeon if we don't need it for ramp. Wandering Troubadour ventures into the dungeon end of turn if a land entered play under our control, while Eliwick Tumblestrom ventures into the dungeon with her plus ability. We are going to try to use Eliwick's ultimate ability, which is quite doable, because it creates an emblem that permanently buffs our creatures and gives them haste and trample. Next we have our interaction, beginning with the aforementioned Blizzard Brawl. If we have at least 3 snow permanents in play when we cast Blizzard Brawl, the creature that we choose to fight an opposing creature with gets +1 power and indestructible until end of turn. Alpha Authority gives the enchanted creature hexproof and limited evasion, while Heroic Intervention protects the team from a board wipe. Hunter's Talent acts as removal on the first level, and can be leveled up to buff an attacking creature and give it trample, and then to draw cards if we control a big enough creature. Jaheira, Harper Emissary, can be specialized to destroy an artifact or enchantment, while Reclamation Sage destroys an artifact or enchantment when it enters. Kogla, the Titan Ape, fights an opposing creature when he enters, and can destroy an artifact or enchantment when he attacks. We also have a few humans in the deck, including our commander, which we can return to our hand to give Kogla indestructible. Finally, Thorn Mammoth fights an opposing creature when it enters, as well as whenever any other creature enters under our control, so it can possibly fight multiple times a turn. Next, we have our creature token synergy cards. Woodland Champion and Wildwood Mentor pick up +1/+1 counters whenever any kind of token enters under our control. Wildwood Mentor also buffs another creature when it attacks. The new low-powered Scout from Final Fantasy gets bigger the more creatures we play each turn, while Peregrine Took makes an additional food token whenever we create other tokens, and can sacrifice 3 foods to draw a card. The new Kina Ku Gourmet from Final Fantasy makes a frog token whenever another token enters under our control, and we can sacrifice frogs to put +1/+1 counters on Kina. While Sandstorm Salvager makes a Golem token when it enters, and has an activated ability to put +1/+1 counters on all our creature tokens and give them trample. Parallel Lives and Doubling Season double how many tokens we make whenever we create tokens. Doubling Season also doubles counters, so if we play a Planeswalker while Doubling Season is in play, we can use its ultimate ability right away. Speaking of Planeswalkers, Garruk Unleashed buffs a creature and gives it trample with his plus ability, while his minus ability makes beast tokens. Tendershoot Dryad makes a sapling at the beginning of each turn, both ours and the opponent's, and buffs all our saplings if we have achieved the City's Blessing, while Biogenic Ooze makes an ooze token when it enters, and slowly grows our oozes over time. Biogenic Ooze also has an activated ability to make more ooze tokens as well. Gruff Triplets makes 2 token copies of itself when it enters, and whenever a copy of Gruff Triplets dies, it makes the remaining copies even bigger, while Somberwald Beastmaster makes 10/10 worth of stats across 4 creatures, and gives all our creature tokens Death Touch. Howling Giant comes with a pair of wolf tokens, while Hornet Queen makes 4 additional insect tokens with flying and Death Touch. Sandworm Convergence shuts down opposing flyers and makes a big worm token end of turn, while Verdant Force makes a sapling at the beginning of each and every turn. Our final category consists of our card advantage. Ranger class first makes a wolf token and can be leveled up to put a +1/+1 counter on an attacking creature, and then to let us cast creature spells off the top of our library, while Sylvan Anthem buffs our green creatures and scries when a creature enters, helping us set up our next draw. Werewolf Pack Leader draws a card when it attacks if we have enabled pack tactics, and has an activated ability to buff its power and gain trample, while Tome of Legends can draw cards as long as we can keep attacking with our commander. Spinner of Souls lets us find more creatures whenever our creatures in play die, although it doesn't trigger when our creature tokens die. Tribute to the World Tree puts +1/+1 counters on our smaller creatures, and draws cards when larger creatures enter, while Guardian Project is perfect in a singleton format like Brawl because we don't have multiples of the same creature, so it will continually draw cards. Elder Gargaroth can draw cards, make beast tokens, or gain life whenever it attacks or blocks, while Glorious Sunrise has a number of useful modes. It can draw a card while our commander is in play. Finally, the Great Henge, which also ramps us and gains life when we tap it to add mana, draws a card whenever a non-token creature we control enters and puts a +1/+1 counter on that creature. As a monocolor deck, we are playing mostly basic forests, along with Fabled Passage and Prismatic Vista to search them up, and we're playing snow basics to go with a couple of our spells. Our utility lands include Boseiju, Who Endures, which can be channeled as additional interaction, Castle Garenbrig to ramp out our bigger creatures, Lair of the Hydra as a creature land, and the new Zanarkand, Ancient Metropolis from Final Fantasy, which can be played as an adventure to make a large hero token if we don't need it as a land right away. We also have Dungeon Descent, which lets us venture into the dungeon if we tap a legendary creature, Faceless Haven as a creature land to go with all our snow lands, Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx for additional ramp, and Plaza of Heroes and Tyrite Sanctum to protect our commander or other key creatures. So that's our Varis deck. Now it's time to take it into the queue and play some games. On the play, we've got 4 lands, 1 mana ramp, so we can play Varis turn 2, Wandering Troubadour turn 3, so I think this is keepable. Name green, of course. One leads with forest. Fetches a basic land. We'll have to hope we get off to a faster start. Opponent makes a treasure, Verdant Force. Little scry. Don't need a land. And then I want to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, so we'll make a goblin. Want to play his tap land. Into Urza's Incubator. And then we'll play Salvager main phase to trigger Varis. And I guess we'll play Tome of Legends main phase 2 to draw a card off Varis attacking. Or put a page counter, not draw a card. Opponent falls to 13. We draw a card off completing the dungeon and make a wolf token. Opponent takes out Tome. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So I can play Hunter's Talent, level it up, and activate Sandstorm Challenger. And I think I do because I add... And that's enough for opponent. Alright, I'm pretty sure we had lethal there. Alright, so we managed to get underneath a Dragon Ramp deck. We'll take it. On we go. On the draw, if I had one more land, this hand would be keepable, but we really want 3 lands in our opening hand, so we'll take our free mulligan. Still only 2 lands. I am on the draw, so going down to 6 isn't as bad, because you have the extra draw step. So I think we'll try for 3 lands. Alright, I'm not going down to 5, so we'll have to keep this and hope we draw land 3. Although at least we have lots of ramp if we don't. And then what to bottom? Could be Glorious Sunrise? Or maybe Thorn Mammoth? I think let's bottom Thorn Mammoth. Well, we don't draw a lane, but we do draw Birds of Paradise. And then Lucamina can help us hit our land drop. So I think that's what we play here, even though I could play some more ramp. Alright, we draw another land, that's great. I could play Varis here, but it's more efficient to play Dungeon Map into one of my 2-mana ramp creatures. Yuna is, by the way, a great way to play Sithis without having to have Sithis as your commander and be in the Hell queue. So we need an enchantment removal stat. We've kind of been flooding, which is the opposite problem of what usually happens when I keep a hand with 2 lands. Usually I never hit land 3. We go down to 1. Looks like opponent's got a trick. So, I guess I should have kept Thorn Mammoth. Although I might not have been able to get it out in time. Anyway, better luck next time. On we go. On the draw, I've got 3 lands and ramp, so I think this is keepable. We'll have a turn 3 Guardian Project. And then hopefully turn 4 Silverymoon Anthem Varis. And with Cold Steel Heart, we'll have the 3 snow sources we need to make Faceless Haven a creature land. Opponent ramps with Cultivate. We take 2. Gilded Goose, a bit late. Could play Nethroy. Oh no, they still are short a couple mana to mutate it. Although they don't have any creatures in graveyard to get back. Or mutates Vulpikeet. Looks like opponent can do something for 2 mana. Birds of Paradise. We'll play Sylvan Anthem and then Varis. We'll scry before drawing. Don't need Elvish Mystic. Now the problem with Hornet Queen is, despite the fact that Insects of Death Touch, they don't block a creature with double strike. Although with the buff from Sylvan Anthem, we might be able to throw enough of them in front of the Volbekeep. Home plays Lurks. I think with all the ramp, I'll block with Varis if they attack, because I kind of want to get rid of this mutate creature. They can't get the Volbekeep back with Luris. Opponents deciding whether they want to attack, maybe? I think if they had a combat trick, they would attack without hesitation. They attack. Let's block. If they have removal, they only have one mana open, so Varus will counter it with Ward. Alright, it's a trade. Draw another land. Don't need land. Alright, Lucamino. It might not be a bad idea to make a big hero token, because this is basically a spell in the form of a land drop. But I think we want to look for either interaction or more card draw. And Storm Salinger will do. Opponent plays Skyclave Relic and kicks it. So they've got a lot of mana. And then they can replay Adorned Pouncer, thanks to Luris. The Skyclave Relics are indestructible, so I can't destroy them with Boseiju. Although there's not much point. Looks like opponents in a quandary about what to do next. So I've got 6 lands, so I can play Lucamina and specialize her. Maybe discard Gilded Goose. And we'll pick Goblin Lair because I want to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. And then we'll seek the land before we scry and draw. Possibly should have played Gallagrators before playing. Alright, we definitely don't need a land. Peregrine Tuck. We'll discard Gilded Goose. We'll attack with Varis. I don't mind trading for Loris and Paradise Druid. Opponent doesn't block. And then I think we'll leave Gallagrators in hand. Because I've already triggered venturing into the dungeon with Varis, so playing another creature is not going to change that. Opponent's got Reclamation Sage. Destroy a Sylvan Anthem. I might blow up Authority of the Consuls with Boseiju. As that is, opponent is going to gain a lot of life off me making lots of creature tokens. And if we draw an ultimate Eliwick, then she gives haste with her emblem. Actually, I'll need to find a way to get rid of Luris, because opponent can just replay Authority on their turn. With Luris in play. So maybe I should have waited to do that. Draw another land. Alright. Opponent has Heroic Intervention. Lucamina returns. I'm definitely glad I didn't attack with Varis. Blur Sunrise triggers at the beginning of combat. We'll make a treasure token, so we make a food. And then won't play, I might discard Delighted Halfling or land to Lucamina. Alright, Great Henge. Opponent replays Authority. So I basically ramped opponent for free. Opponent mutates Nethroi. No blocks. Orgal. Opponent takes it. We'll play the Great Henge. Play Torgal. Alright. So we're going to have to try to leverage our card advantage. plays Monster Manual. So that's good. That'll let them put creatures onto the battlefield for just 2 mana. Let's see, if we trade for Varis, I think we take it. And then let's draw with Pippin. Rough triplets. Woodland Champion. And then let's go back to Lost Mine of Phandelver, Parallel Lives. I think we want to draw that. Ina Coup Gourmet. Let's see, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Opponent is going to gain a lot of life off Authority of the Consuls. Opponent's in a good game, I don't know why. Opponent takes it. Falls to 9. Opponent's got swords for Woodland Champion. Right on the bright side, we gain 14 life. The opponent hangs back. We'll draw a card off Pippin. $50 feet of rope. Alright. Alright. And there we go. Awfully nice of opponent to stick around. Alright, there we go. So that's the deck strategy in a nutshell. Go wide, beat down. Now we definitely lucked out to draw a lot of our card advantage engines. That helped us get ahead of opponent. So we're not probably going to be that lucky all the time. But you got to enjoy it when you get it. Anyway, on we go. On the play, if I had ramp in my opening hand, this would be perfect. But I think we take our mulligan. It's really important that we have ramp so we can get off to a fast start. Alright. Here I've only got 2 lands, but Lucamina helps me find a land, and I've got some early ramp, so I think this is keepable. And Torgal puts a +1/+1 counter on Varis, and on Lucamina for what it's worth. The opponent off to a fast start with Llanowar Elves. Opponent plays Loot. Alright, we hit our land drop. I can play Heraldic Banner into Jaheira. We don't need Jaheira for anything right now, but that is the most mana efficient play, so I think that's what we go with. And then Torgal will put a +1/+1 counter on Jaheira. So she can attack past Loot. Opponent's got 5 mana. They're 1 land away from activating Loot. And then if I draw land, opponent kicks Gnarlid Colony. It would be nice if I could play Varis first, but I want to hit my land drop. And the best way to do that and still play 2-3 drops is pass Lucamina first. We don't have attacks. Varis doesn't pick up counter because he's the second human we played, and Torgal only puts the first human. Opponent reconsiders. We'll scry. Blizzard Brawl.
Ah, I love the smell of mulch, and the respect for nature is always returned.
And then we don't have attacks. Opponent plays Prime Time. Alright. We got 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So I can tap out for Thorn Mammoth.
They're a stampede of one.
Guess I could have attacked with Goose if I wasn't going to make mana with it. Ether Spark is an equipment, so I can blow it up with Chihira. I would have preferred to have drawn land.
My pack's always growing.
Missing land drops has been pretty unfortunate. No attacks. We're going to need to get trample. Opponent activates loot. It's Gigantosaurus, that's pretty good. We'll make a food.
I like animals better than people.
I'm going to have to trade Thorn Mammoth here. I think take out the Horn Beetle, because otherwise they'll grow out of range. Evolving Adaptive. Opponent activates Loot. Misses. Opponent reconsiders attacking, attacks with everyone. Alright.
I like to think big.
Alright. Completing a dungeon was useful because it means we create a wolf token. And that's enough for opponent. Alright. So, despite opponent going wide with Scoot Swarms and tall with Gnarlid Colony, Nestian Hornbeetle, and Gigantosaurus, we still managed to get the job done. We'll take it. On we go. On the play, if I had ramp, this card would be perfect with the 3 lands, but we really need to have ramp in our opening hand. Alright. And then this is great. Not sure I'll have time to play Xanarkin for its spell, but you never know. We'll be able to get off to a pretty fast start here. Another land, so I might hold on to Xanarkin. We're only going to be up to 5 mana next turn, even with Heraldic Banner, so we can't play both Salvager and Varis. But I think we still play Banner here for the additional ramp and the added pressure. Opponent leads with Forest, doesn't have turn 1 ramp. Plays Roaring Earth. No creatures to go with it. I could channel Boseiju on Roaring Earth, but I don't think I want to. "50 feet of rope. Alright. So let's play Salvager. Little Scry. I'll keep Garrick. Falls to 17. They're off to a slow start. Haven't played any ramp. The next turn we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands. So not enough to play Garrick and activate 50 feet of rope. Could play Garrick, make a beast, activate Sandstorm Salvager. Opponent might be missing land drops. Yeah, they might have checked out of this one after we're definitely punishing them for their slow start with our aggressive start. Alright, and that's enough for opponent. Okay, so there we go. So we're wrapping up here because we had a couple games take a fairly long time and we don't want this video to go too long. Anyway, but as you can see, the deck strategy is pretty simple. Get early ramp and then ramp out our commander and make tokens to go wide. and that seems to do pretty well. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. If you'd like to see another Brawl video, either a commander from another commander from Forgotten Realms, or maybe from a different set like the new Final Fantasy set, let me know in the comments. Thanks again for watching. Do please like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed, and have a good one. Bye.